All right, everybody, YouTubers out there. This is my first YouTube knife video. My first time, so please be merciful and kind. I thought it'd be fun just to introduce myself to the knife community by doing this fun video. It's not anything that you haven't seen before. There may be actually one thing that you haven't seen before, but it should be fun. Just to let you know a little bit about myself, I started collecting knives very casually back in 7th grade, and now I'm in my 40s. I collected throughout the years and built up a little collection, but I did it out of ignorance, and I really hadn't studied up on knives and didn't really know anything about them. So in essence, I'm a noob. But this year, in 2012, as my wife and I started prepping, I really got into knives and started watching hours and hours of YouTube videos, and I've learned about the steels and blade shapes and locking systems and whatnot, and it's been great, and I've built up a little bit of an addiction here and gotten a little out of hand. So what we're doing today is we are going to have an unboxing, as you see, but we're also going to, or I'm going to show you some of the knives that I picked up at the 2012 Blade Show in Atlanta. I was fortunate enough to go to that since it's only half an hour from where I live. And while I was at the show, I was able to handle a bunch of knives that I'd never handled before. And when I, touched them and looked at them in person and felt them, I fell in love with a few, and I had to get them, and here they are. I finally broke down and made the investment and got them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with these. I'm going to use my Kershaw Oh So Sweet to break into this first one here. And I have not opened any of these, so you guys are seeing this with me for the first time. And this should be especially nice one for all of you. And let's take a look. Oh my gosh, look at this. What do we have here? An Emerson folder. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And what will it be? Now, I don't know if I handled this particular one at the show, but I handled one like it, and fell in love with the Emersons. They were a little bit out of my range, and so not a lot of paperwork or anything with it. But here we go. We have, for your perusal, the Emerson Horseman, also known as the Mini CQC 8. And this is the first time I am handling this, and right off the bat, the G10, as usual, feels awesome. Let's just go ahead and deploy this. I'm going to break it in later and get better at, some of the other knives are easier. All right, so just right off the bat, man, I'm going to take a look at this thing because I just have to take it in. It is awesome. So one thing I want to do in my video is hold the knife for you in different positions. And before I do that, I want to go ahead and give you an idea of what my hand size is. My hand size is somewhere between a medium and a large. I would call it the large size of medium or a small large. And nobody really does this, probably for good reason. I'm going to go ahead and put my iPhone for you just so you can see it compared to my hand. I'm going to go ahead and put the phone in my hand. Hopefully you've got the whole phone. You can see it in my hand. I've got a little bit of meat on either side, and there's the length of it. And if I were to wrap the phone around my hand here, I can touch my thumb to my middle finger. So that gives you an idea of about how big, hopefully, my hand is with an iPhone in the grip. So you can judge if your hand is bigger or smaller than mine, and therefore you can go ahead and see how the knife fits. So here's the Emerson again, and right off the bat, man, it feels awesome. It's as good as the one I felt at the show. I think there was a different model I was looking at the show. So let's look at here. being the smaller one, I can tell you the grip is just awesome. This finger choil up here is great. The jimping up here is terrific. It's not the best maybe grip, but it's pretty darn close to being the best in that it's not hurting your hand. It's not so sharp. And so with my hand here is what it looks like on the side, forward. And if I just hold it like this is about how big it is, and do anything. So that's that knife. Let's go ahead and put that away and move right along to our next one. Let's see what we have here. We've got a couple knives in here. Excuse me if I'm a little nervous or redundant. It is my first video I've ever made. All right. Oh, well, I don't want to spoil it for everybody. Let's start out with this one first and leave the biggie to the end there. Oh, what do we have here? And this is your typical Tenacious, except for this Spidey Tenacious, I actually got the black blade. So there we go. Yep, the G10 is definitely not as grippy. I've got the paramilitary too, which feels awesome. And this knife is a few more dollars. I got it for about $44. Normally they were going for about $34 or so because of the black blade. It's a little bit more expensive, but looks very handsome. And again, let's take a look at the spine so you can see how thick it is. As far as the grip, let's look at the grip. This grip here for me, again, with my hand size, if you can make that out, is pretty good. It's a nice, very comfortable feeling knife to put in your hand. I'm actually very happy I got this. This is going to be my beater knife. It's going to be sort of my gentleman's beater knife. When I go to work in my black pants, this will be perfect. I'm going to go ahead and work without the liner. Seems lined up in a good place. And let's give it, I'm going to have to break it in again and to get that. But very, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so let's put that one away and move on to our next guy. And this is the beast that I have been waiting for as well. And I'll look inside there later. Yes, that's the Zero Tolerance 200. I was debating about the 300 series. When I tried it at the Blade Show, the 300 was just awesome. But I said to myself, well, I'd like something maybe a little bit more, just a little bit more practical, but still with a great big fat blade. And the 200 just seemed like the kind of sensible choice for that, because I also wanted to get the grip in this fashion, the G10 grip with the not the plain G10, but like this, but the raised one. I also kind of, for aesthetic reasons, I like the screw, although people like Nut and Fancy have said that the screw is really not something that you really need, or is maybe even practical. But anyway, let us open this puppy up. Ooh, that's just smooth right off the bat. Oh man. Take a look at that. There we go. And here's the back of it. Once again, here's the, again, here is my hand grip on it. As big a hand as I have, this knife is perfect, man. I was anticipating this to be a perfect fit, and boy, I'll tell you, it has not missed. The jimping is good. It's definitely a more grippy jimping than the Emerson. Sort of on line with the Spyderco. I think the Spyderco is maybe even grippier than this because it's a little rougher. for the jimping. But man, oh lordy, 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 it feels great. Now I really like knives that have a finger choil here that just, you know, will keep your finger in and not move forward. I'm very paranoid about that. I have to put that aside. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the knives that I picked up at the Blade Show and talk about those.